Us today is a seasoned leader in the Indian banking sector with over 2 decades of excellence under his belt. Please welcome Mr. Anil Kumar, the current zonal head of the Guwahati zone for the Central Bank of India. With a career spanning 23 years at the bank since joining in 2002, Anil sir has navigated diverse leadership roles across the country. His impressive track record includes serving as regional head for both the Bankura and Baroda regions and also serving as chairman and managing director of a regional rural bank in Cooch Behar, West Bengal. An alumnus of BHU Varanasi, where he earned his Master of Arts, and IMT Ghaziabad, where he completed his MBA, Anil sir brings a unique blend of academic depth and on-the-ground expertise to our conversation. From leading major banking operations to managing complex regional portfolios across India, he has a wealth of insight into the evolving landscape of finance and leadership. Anil sir, we are thrilled to have you with us here today. In this episode, we'll be exploring how public sector banks are evolving amidst policy changes like the Union Budget of 2026 and the digital transformation of the Indian banking sector. Hello and welcome to Vani Karan. I'm your host Hitanshi. Joining us today is a seasoned leader in the Indian banking sector with over 2 decades of excellence under his belt. Please welcome Mr. Anil Kumar, the current zonal head of the Guwahati zone for the Central Bank of India. With a career spanning 23 years at the bank since joining in 2002, Anil sir has navigated diverse leadership roles across the country. His impressive track record includes serving as regional head for both the Bankura and Baroda regions and serving as the chairman and managing director of a regional rural bank in Cooch Behar, West Bengal. An alumnus of BHU Varanasi, where he earned his Master of Arts, and IMT Ghaziabad, where he completed his MBA, Anil sir brings a unique blend of academic depth and on the ground expertise to our conversation. From leading major banking operations to managing complex regional portfolios across India, he has a wealth of insight into the evolving landscape of finance and leadership. Anil sir, we are thrilled to have you with us. So, in this episode, we'll be exploring how public sector banks are evolving amidst these policy changes that we have, like the Union Budget of 2026 and the digital transformation that the Indian banking sector is ongoing. So, maybe begin with the question, sir.
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon. Thank you, team at IIM Shillong, for this wonderful introduction and platform. We are privileged for Central Bank of India to be associated with IIM Shillong. Institution like IIM Shillong play a crucial role in shaping India's managerial and policy leadership and engaging with students through discussion the Jahel Bridge academic and industry. Having spent over 2 decades in public sector bank, I have had opportunity to witness the transformation of Indian banking system from a largely branch-driven ecosystem to digital platform. Uh, in fact, banking system, Indian banking system has changed drastically in last 2 decades. In fact, after globalization, there are so many changes in Indian banking system. I took forward for sharing some insights from this industry. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
And go
And
ahead.
we look forward to hearing you.
Yeah.
So, before we get into the budget and how it affects public sector banking, I would love to hear about your professional journey. Rising through the ranks to become zonal head, what are some key events or experiences you can recall that shaped the trajectory of your career?
Ma'am, actually, I have joined in this organization in 2002 as a probationary officer. After joining in this bank, in this banking industry, I am witnesses of several changes. Uh, if we talk about recent changes in the last 10 years, you will agree that several changes took place like digitalization, financial inclusion, and government's reform. If you talk about financial inclusion, you will agree that after launch of PMJDY, that means Jandhan account, so many changes taken place took place in banking industry. Over 52 crore account has been opened in that particular scheme, and this is and it was a major changes, and this is a way to reach to last mile of people. Secondly, uh, after demonetization, and secondly, COVID-19, digital platform became a game changer in the banking sector. Demonetization accelerated digital adoption, UPI ecosystem, core banking maturity, and banking penetration. These are the some major changes in the last 10 years.
That's good to know, sir. Now let's get into some of the nitty-gritty of the budget. So, sir, as we saw in the budget, the union budget of 2026 especially placed renewed focus on credit growth and strengthening the deposit mobilization and various other financial sector reforms. So, from your vantage point at the Central Bank of India, how do these priorities influence the strategic direction that public sector banking will be taking in the coming years?
See, uh, the union budget is well driven, and this is not a short term. If we consider this budget is aligned for long term.
Yes.
Firstly, from our perspective, this strategy is set on three pillars: credit expansion into productive sector, that is manufacturing sector. Secondly, service sector. If we talk about manufacturing sector and service sector, firstly we will consider development of infrastructure, MSME, finance, renewable energy, and agriculture. These are the system which drive our credit growth in present day, and it will continue in coming day also. Secondly, deposit franchise strengthening. Uh, Still, all bank are having a good CASA deposit, and CASA deposit is backbone of any bank, and secondly, MSME growth. Uh, with credit deposit CD ratio rising across the system, deposit mobilization become critical for our system. Focus area include CASA growth, salary account, institutional deposit, digital onboarding. These are our priorities. Thirdly, technology and cost efficiency. Budget push on digital public infrastructure, complement banks' investment in analytics, artificial intelligence based underwriting, and process automation. This improve turnaround time and customer experience. For us, balance growth with granular deposit mobilization and digital enable productivity is a crucial, and we are working on it. Not only we are all bank are focusing on CASA and credit. All are maintaining a CD ratio at we consider our CD ratio as a country banking system is almost 80%. This is a key factor where we determined where in which side our credit growth outflow is going on. Uh, this is the main issue. This is the main positivity with this union budget.
Sir, do you see any specific initiatives being prioritized in the Northeast region specifically because of these budget signals?
Actually, uh, in fact, the central government as well as state government. If you see, in last 3 years, 4 years, in Northeast, we are getting several infra projects. Infrastructure development is going on, and infrastructure is a backbone of any economy. If there is a good infrastructure, our credit growth outflow will good. Our CD ratio will good just because of if infrastructure is good, then industrialist and investment from outside will also come. and that will be good for any state if investor invest in our state, and our state will grow in accordance to infrastructure provided by the state government and central government, and continuously we are on it. We are also financing tourism sector, hotel sector. These are the opportunity in the Northeast, and we are working on it.
That's good to know, sir. Moving on to our next question. Since you were mentioning financial inclusion being a key theme in the policy circles, as well as growth of MSMEs, so what are the key challenges you face on ground, especially in semi-urban and rural markets when it comes to delivering credit and deepening this financial inclusion policy? And how can, broader policy support make a difference to this?
Firstly, in context of Northeast, I would like to raise still financial literacy is needed.
Right.
Uh, Public is not aware what product is available for them in Northeast in different bank, and what support is being given by central government as well as the state government. This is the first challenges in Northeast. Secondly, public are not aware about his financial discipline, not maintaining their book properly. And as a banker, I can say we are playing with book only. Secondly, mind behind the project, mind behind the proposal, who is coming in Northeast. They are actually in accordance to other states like Gujarat and Maharashtra, they are not aware. This is the basic challenges besides the geographical challenges. If we talk about financial inclusion, there are several issues in particularly Northeast. Uh, if firstly, I would like to say cash flow volatility, last mile delivery issue, risk perception, these all are factor raised continuing this area particularly.
Right.
Uh, One more thing I would love to add here. Uh, Digital GST and account aggregator data improving cash flow visibility, credit guarantee scheme is there, trade platforms are there, SHG, JLG models are there. In fact, all banks are doing on the same trend and same way, man.
That's good to know, sir. And I totally agree that financial literacy is definitely a challenge widely faced in the Northeast region yet. Yeah, moving on to the next question. Um, so, for a bank, balancing credit growth with asset quality remains a core challenge. In light of recent reforms and risk management expectations, as mentioned in the budget and other regulators, how do public sector banks and especially Central Bank of India calibrate risk while still supporting the economic growth and supporting these organizations in growing?
Besides RBI guideline, and we are having our own system to monitor the account properly, like tracking of the customer where EMI is not coming on a regular basis, analysis of our portfolio, even recently sanctioned account, we are tracking what is the behavior, what is the trade in that particular account. We are also generating so many report in each and every account, like early warning signal, resolution of ecosystem in some of the account, like uh, within 3 months, which account has been sanctioned and coming into a stress account, We are also conducting literacy, conducting financial discipline, with discussing financial discipline with the borrower so that they can understand financial discipline and regularize these account. Lastly, portfolio diversification. This is the main factor where corporate advances and retail advances. We are shaping into two part. Firstly, if we consider retail advances to the tune of 65%, then corporate advances max to max 35%. That will balance our assets as well as portfolio as well as in making our profitability.
Right, sir.
NPA challenging. NPA is actually challenging. Actually, NPA is a part of risk management. Uh, Monitoring the asset is the key factor in our risk management system, and our regional office team, zonal office team, even branch office team is working on it on each and every account. What account has been sanctioned during last 3 months? How many account has been sanctioned during last 6 months? And how many out of which, how many accounts are coming in SMA categories? That is our basic funda, and deliberated by our corporate office that each and every account should be monitored properly, and each and every account holder, borrower should be guided properly.
That sounds like a robust policy you have, sir, at Central Bank. Before we wrap up on our budget discussion, are there any points that you would like to mention that I have not taken up in my questions? You can please do so, sir.
No. You have covered all the parameter, man.
Okay. Um, so yeah, before we wrap up this session, are there any key pieces of advice you would like to share with our students who are looking to pursue a career in banking?
Yeah, this is a very, in fact, very tough question for a banker. While talking with I am a student, uh, see, degree from IIM is a separate thing. Of course, a premium student of premium institute are getting or will get additional point. But besides that, I would like to suggest some key point for our student, for our future leader. Firstly, understanding of their business. Go beyond the number. Number is just dot, nothing beyond that. Secondly, build a strong fundamental. Knowledge is everything. And thirdly, soft skill. Particularly in banking industry, this is a uh, key area where still we are facing a lot of challenges. And I expect from our IIM student or premium student or candidate who is recently joined or going to join in our bank or in banking sector, a soft skill is first and foremost quality. Third, fourth one is adaptability. And most important, specialization. Uh, General qualification is good, but if you are having any specialization in any particular segment, of course, you will be recognized better than other guys. And I expect from our IIM Shillong student, they are working on it. And I hope gradually they will transform themselves to a specialized. Because they see, अगर आप किसी भी सेक्टर में आपके पास स्पेशलाइजेशन है, then there are huge scope. In banking is a wide range of you can say service product and different there. Credit we are facing most of the challenges in credit portfolio. A specialization in a credit portfolio, it will be good and foremost for in banking career.
So those are some excellent pieces of advice for our students here to have a specialization and to definitely give importance to soft skills more. With that, we come to an end of this session. And thank you so much, sir, for sharing these insights, both on the broader banking landscape as well as your own journey. It is clear that
Yeah.
as
Yes,
India's
yes.
financial ecosystem evolves, public sector banks will continue to play a pivotal role. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share. With that, yes, sir, we have come to an end. Any closing thoughts? Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you once again for being the title sponsor for Nirvana 2026 at IIM Shillong. We are truly grateful for your support, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. And actually, we are also feeling delighted to be associated closely with IIM Shillong, ma'am. Thank you. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.